Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anca and I do art and illustration related videos. So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe and check out the other videos on my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to review MORE ECOLINE liquid watercolors. I bought some more colors because I felt that the initial set I got was really lacking for me in terms of color palette. So I got some blues, some greens, a white, a gold, and an apricot color. And yeah, this is basically a second impressions on these watercolors. So the colors I got actually do have names to them. A subscriber actually wrote a comment that you can find the names written really small on the side of the bottle. So I will leave the color name somewhere in the video. But basically I got an indigo, a deep green, turquoise green, an apricot, and two of their opaque colors, which is the gold and the white. So you will see once I put them in the pan that they are very thick in comparison to the other colors, the white and the gold. They have sort of this watered down gouache feeling to them, and yeah, you have to shake them up a bit before using them. So it's very interesting to see that they are so different in consistency to the other colors. So I was looking on Ecoline's website and I couldn't really find any information on the light fastness of the colors. I did, however, read some blogs and most of them said that they don't really have light fastness, so it's best to use them in your sketchbook and stuff like that, so not to display them as you would in a museum. Yeah, I think that's a bummer because the colors are really vibrant and they are really up my alley. I know I started illustration using these types of liquid inks and this is very reminiscent of that. Even my logo has an actual bottle similar to this, and that is because some of the first art supplies I used were inks in these types of bottles. So as you can see here, the gold is really thick compared to the other colors. It's very peculiar, but that doesn't really bother me that much on the gold. The white is also very thick and I feel like it's hard to get very fine details with it. So that's maybe a downside to the fact that they are so thick, but I don't know how you would do liquid watercolors and actually do an opaque white, so I guess that's the reason why it's so thick. So I did a few swatches before doing an illustration, as I usually do, and yeah, they perform really nicely, exactly the same as the additional color set. I will leave a link to that first impressions video somewhere in the description or using a card on the top of the video. So yeah, as you can see, the swatches are really nice. They go on very smoothly, which is basically the thing that really drew me into these liquid watercolors. I really like the smooth application, the fact that there are no streaks, the fact that they dry really fast, and also they blend beautifully together, in my opinion. You will see that I made sort of a landscape illustration and I just let the colors flow into one another, and you will see that the effect is really nice. But yeah, basically I'm really happy with this purchase because I feel now that I have a complete set. Yeah, the only downside, I think, the only thing I don't like personally is the fact that they are not permanent. So once they are dry, they can actually be reactivated with water. So that makes layering a bit tricky. But if you like that kind of blown out look, I think that's fine. So as you can see in the swatches here, I did try to blend a couple of them, let them flow together with adding a lot of water. I'm really not sure how this technique is called. And I also wanted to do a gradient, and I also layered the white and the gold on top of a darker color to see how it performs. And I will say that you have to apply quite a lot to get it opaque, and once you apply a lot it could crack, which is weird, but I've seen this happen with the Kuretake white ink as well, so you have to be very mindful of how much color you actually use. But yeah, my overall thoughts on these liquid watercolors after using them a couple of times and after getting some colors that I really enjoyed, I think I will get a lot of use out of these. They are 30 milliliters bottles, and I think they will last me a long time. And yeah, I really enjoy this type of medium. I think it's just a personal choice. My favorite types of mediums are palettes and these types of liquidy inks and watercolors. So here are the swatches. I think they look pretty nice. I will keep repeating myself and saying that the thing I like the most is the fact that they are so smooth, and once you apply them, there are no streaks. I don't know how to explain it. It's very satisfying for me. So I did an illustration using them. I wanted to do something very easy and fun. So I've been watching a lot of X-Files during this quarantine, and this illustration was kind of inspired by that. It's basically a road with some trees and a nice sky in the background. And as you can see, I applied a lot of water at the beginning, and I kind of let the colors do their thing in the water. Also, the one thing I noticed is that when you apply them, they have a really nice depth to them. And once they are dry, that kind of disappears, and you can't really layer them that much because you will destroy the underneath layer since they are not permanent. So that's something to keep in mind. But the only problem for me is that you can't really get really deep tones in your painting. As you see, once it's dry, it's not that intense, the color. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much. I still like the way the colors look even when they are dry. Yeah, I actually really recommend these for people who like to use liquid watercolors or inks. I think they're great. So yeah, this is basically my second impression on these watercolors. Let me know in the comment section, what are your thoughts on the EcoLine liquid watercolors? What are your thoughts on this painting? How have you been doing during this quarantine? I know I say that in pretty much every video, but it's something that is on everybody's mind, and I want to know how you are doing, how you are dealing with being stuck at home. I know I started painting a lot since I've been stuck at home. I did many pet portraits for my Patreons. I started on a new sketchbook. I started using art supplies that I haven't used in years. So yeah, there's been a lot of painting here in this home and I don't regret it at all. It keeps my mind busy. It makes me do something productive, and yeah, it makes me happy. So let me know in the comment section, what have your activities been? How are you holding up mentally? And what are your thoughts on this illustration and video? So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!